right, welcome to Grown Folks Business on a Thursday evening here in wonderful April. We've had some amazing weather the last few days, but now we're dealing with some of the consequences of that heat meeting some of that cold, and it's going to make a significant adjustment the next couple of days around these parts. But as long as we're able to, as long as the power stays on, the internet functions properly, we are going to have our show tonight. And I would not want to share this time and space with none other than the people that are here. Lisa, thanks for getting here. Jay, appreciate you being here. Bob, as always, appreciate you being here. Danya, thanks for doing what you do in this space, man, and keeping us on the air. And I hope we get a reasonable hour of no interruptions, and we can get through tonight's topic, which I think is apropos for the people in this space, because I think for being some people as we are that care about how the world is working and what's going on and how we can be impactful to better outcomes, I think this topic has a place. And I want to begin tonight by first and foremost saying to the folks that I had a wonderful time with on my birthday and on the day that I accomplished a task that was in front of me of completing my comps. I truly appreciate you all. And if you couldn't make it, Jay Dwayne, appreciate you anyway, man. I know you wanted to be there. I felt your presence. So go ahead.
I did want to be there. And I looked at y'all pictures all salty.
You gonna interrupt my speech to say what? What'd you say, man?
I looked at y'all pictures all salty. As soon as Lisa posted them, I wanted to do an angry face. But happy birthday, man. I love you, and I appreciate you being a part of my life, though, for real.
Reciprocated, man. I made sure to mention in the speech that I loved each and every one of you, and I that love carries forth to those that couldn't make it. And it's to you, Jay. I appreciate you, man. And so, Bob, you pulled off a wonderful caper, man. That was a awesome covert operative 007 move, and I thank you for getting some people that I value in a space, not for celebration of me. I think just to share the time, and that's all I'm about. And I was very humbled. So I wanted to get that out the way, especially for those that are tuning in that may have known about it, that were there, because I know Julia and Gregory couldn't make it tonight, but they are watching on Facebook. So yeah.
I'm going to just say you deserved it all and more. And Lisa, if you got pictures, would you send them to me, please?
Thanks, y'all. I appreciate that. So I wanted to get that out the way. Part of my thoughts in connecting tonight's topic with what I was getting ready to experience on my birthday Tuesday was the culmination of a lot of studying, a lot of work towards this PhD in history. And the topic came to my mind of never being satisfied, or the question of are you ever satisfied? So if you got the graphic tonight, you saw the end was in parentheses because it's never or is it ever satisfied. What pleases you and when are you most satisfied? We've talked in this space sometimes about, working towards something, a goal, an objective, something that may bring you pleasure and what have you. But satisfaction, we have to define that versus pleasure. But to answer the first question and to get my little part out of the way for the overarching topic is what pleases you and when are you most satisfied? I'll begin and then I'll come around the space as I normally do. So what pleases me is consistency and reliability, just, in a microcosm. And I think I'm most satisfied when I know that the people around me that I care about are good. That's important to me. So if I know that people are good, then, and if those people are people that are in my vicinity that I care about, or, what have you. And Lisa, I think I've unpacked that with you before about being just, I'll walk up to somebody who just doesn't look like they're having a good time or whatever. I'm better when people around me are better. So that makes me most satisfied. I hope that's not too, too soft, but that's the way I feel. I like when people around me are good. And I don't think that has to come with a bunch of stuff. And I mean material stuff or money or what have you. Just be happy to be here and you know, doing the best you can what you got. So anyway, I'm gonna start with you, Lisa. If you have an answer that falls under that umbrella of the one I gave or something different, have at it. But what pleases you and when are you most satisfied?
Terrible question for me, because I'm trying to find myself right now. I feel like I'm never satisfied. One of the reasons I say that is because I don't even know how to relax. Felton, I've got, some sacred spaces I done created around the house, and Bob too gonna come around, and nice beautiful porch and all this stuff. And I never sit outside. I got 2 fire pits. I never am outside. So yesterday I said, oh, I'm gonna sit outside and just drink a cup of coffee and listen to the birds. I took my coffee cup warmer out there, sat down, and then I said, oh my God, that table needs wiping off. Oh my God, my front door needs wiping down. And I don't think of the never satisfied in respect to getting tangible things, but as I have developed into always having to do something within this survival thing, taking care of this need, that need, that need, that need, I have not had the privilege of just being able to woosah. So I don't even know if that's within me. Like, so even my friend, some people are like, oh, relax, oh, relax. Well, my relaxing is cleaning up some windows, right? Because I feel like I'm being productive. But is that because that's how I've had to exist? Or is that part of my nature? Because I also see people who are darn right slothy. Okay. The word I like to use is lazy. And they're comfortable in their laziness. So for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So we have to have these polar opposites. So when I'm saying I'm trying to find myself, I'm trying to figure out which part is me and how can I feel balanced without being outside of who it is I feel I'm naturally tended to be. So I don't know. Let's see how this fleshes out here.
I think I have a great question that'll come up, and it may get there sooner, depending on how this goes. But yeah, I get your just restlessness that can kick in because it's the next project. And we had a show where we talked about what's next. You accomplish this, what's next, and it's a moment that you have to, I think, be still, and it's tough to do. It's tough to do for some people, and I know I'm included in that to a high degree. Bob, what are your thoughts on this topic of what pleases you and when are you most satisfied?
Let me think through that a little bit more, but I want to comment on what you said, Felton. When the people that I care about are good, I'm good. So I completely understand. I mean, that's something I would absolutely say. That if I know that the people I care about are good, I'm good. There's nothing that's going to take that sense of feeling good away from me if I know the people that I care about are good. So that's just kind of a thing. In spite of Lisa's neuroticism and whatnot, I completely get that too. And I'm the sort, if I see the table needs to be wiped off, I'm going to wipe the table off too, because it's going to get worse if I don't. And so I can't, it's got to be done. It's got to be done now or yesterday. If it wasn't done yesterday, it's got to be done now. And I'm not going to relax until I get that sort of thing done. And that's a crazy, crazy, crazy feeling in many ways. And it's not that way with literally everything, but it's that way with stuff like she's talking about. And that's also though why I can relax when I go out of town, because I don't have to worry about wiping the table down. I don't have to worry about doing any of those sorts of things. And so I can relax when I go away, and I can gain perspective and all of that sort of thing. Back to the core question though, I think the answer to that question is more about what are we talking about? For example, if we're talking about what satisfies me in terms of business, in terms of business, that's around managing for results, modifying work in order to get to results, having everybody aligned and on the same page in terms of actions and efforts and so forth, and then seeing results. That's what gives me satisfaction. That's what gives me satisfaction there. What gives me satisfaction interpersonally is the people I care about being good. What gives me peace in terms of interpersonal interaction is people that I care about being good. And terms like reliability, in terms like consistency, those all play into that, because I think I'm looking for a reliable, stable world that makes sense. And chaos, drama, and all of that sort of thing is all contrary to that. And so all of that creates just I want to be done with that. I want to stay clear of that. I don't have any sense of value for that. I don't know what you do with that except go down the toilet bowl. So I'll stop there for now.
Yeah, I think the recognition that the stable environment is desired is that if you really pay attention and open your mind to the realization that we're spinning in a vast space on a mud ball, and storms come and the earth shakes and we lose loved ones and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I think it's more than sensible to try to be at a place that pleases you and gives a little satisfaction for existing inside of what's already a extremely volatile environment and life. So I'm of that same notion. I want to calm it down as much as I can, and when I'm around somebody who just is all over the place, and it's like we got to figure this out so I don't become even remotely disheveled or disgruntled and unable to function as I normally do, because then I know the world has shifted on its axis, and I won't be able to get back balanced. So Jay, tell me your thoughts on this, man. What pleases you, and when are you most satisfied?
Man, I'm definitely like Lisa. I don't think that I've ever been satisfied, and that's because I feel like for my entire life I've always had to fight for things. There have been times that I've been a little settled, and even in those moments, I realized I was never truly happy. I only forced myself or gaslighted myself, to be honest, to make me feel like I was truly happy. Um, in those moments where I thought that I was happy or satisfied, they were only temporary. So it was like back on the grind. But I find gratification in being around people who get me, where I don't have to have preference conversations. And I don't have to be a character, if you will. I can just be organically me without all of that other stuff that comes along with it. I thought you was this. I thought you. No, I am what I tell you. And like people act like I make up stuff. If I tell you I don't like being around people, you're lying. You like, see? And that irritates me. Like as soon as I tell you something and you tell me how I feel, I'm automatically irritated by stuff like that. And I do shut down like emotionally from like, I'm not in the mood. I don't have the capacity for certain things. So I spend more time searching for some level of gratification, but I hope to one day reach that level of true satisfaction. And the only thing that I can say that would probably give me that is when I'm truly living in my organic purpose without compromise.
I think you're doing some of that, bro. And yeah, I totally agree, man. When somebody projects something onto me that is not what it is, it's the most annoying thing ever. And I call it out, and sometimes it gets a little, hairy because I'm like, look, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm doing. That's not remotely what I'm thinking. So don't do that. Please don't do that. But yeah, I think being purposeful is a big part of this thing, and I'm getting to that question, just not yet. So in honor of Vanessa, who didn't make it tonight, the definition piece of this game. We talked about pleasure some weeks ago. It might have been a couple months ago, but we talked about pleasure a little bit in a little bit more of a deeper way. But satisfaction, I kind of want to unpack what's your thoughts on the difference between pleasure and satisfaction, because I think there is a difference. I think there's a significant one. And again, I got the perfect people. I got the people I had in mind to really unpack this. And Jay, this was one of the questions I thought of, because I know you'll often throw that thing out there that makes the conversation a little bit more complex in the way you interpret certain things. So in your mind, if you don't mind starting off this part, what is the difference between pleasure and satisfaction?
I think pleasure is more of a stimulant, whereas satisfaction is a state of being. So I can have moments of pleasure, but not be fully satisfied. And if I'm honest, I feel like a lot of us have lived that life where we kind of, and I sit in the meme, and that's kind of how it is. Like, we deal with so much BS and so much crap, so much. We take the sugar where we can, even if it's drenched in a little bit of, the other word that starts with an S. And I think that, and for me, it tied to my divorce. Because one of the things that my wife said before she left, my ex-wife said before she left, is that I know that you've been unhappy for so long. And I'm like, how you gonna tell me I'm unhappy? But when I thought about that thing about 3 months in, there were several times that I was unhappy, but I accepted the fact that I said I do forever. And I was just going to, I do forever. And I was going to try to find some level of happiness, some level of pleasure. If we're honest about parenthood, that thing is ghetto. It is not fun. It is nothing like they told us it was going to be. I never had that warm feeling like, ooh, this is going to be amazing. I remember being scared when I had to bring these kids home. You always worry about them. You always are thinking whatever they do is a reflection on you. You find yourself having to defend yourself. So even in parenthood, I'm like, when I'm gonna get that satisfaction? Because right now I feel like work, and the pleasure I do get is like, okay, I had some pretty dope kids, but all that other stuff is very stressful. And I don't know where the people lied and say, oh, this is an amazing feeling and it's so rewarding. Point me to the reward. And that's the same thing with life. Like, in my mind, I thought adulthood was going to be great. And it is very ghetto, very tacky. And you always getting a bill for something, just breathing. So I think that we just learn to find pleasurable moments, pleasurable experiences. Like when life gets too frustrating, I can look at a group text from you guys and text y'all. Somebody's going to make me laugh. Those are pleasurable moments, but am I like satisfied with life? Hell to the no.
Yeah, the journey is long and fraught with many perils of danger, dangers, perils, whatever. It's just this journey is long. So I totally agree. And one of the things or thoughts I had for that question was actually the real timeness of pleasure. And when you understand that it is about to end, the pleasurable moment is about to end, and you're going back to not being satisfied. Yeah, go ahead.
Ooh, I just want to say there's a song by Adele that was written by Bruno Mars, and it's called All I Ask. And that song is talking about literally pretending in this moment like it's not going to end. And so I found myself really being attracted to that song for that very reason. She like, I know it's going to end, but in this moment, can we act like it's not? That's all I'm asking in that moment. And I feel, and I guess I connected that to life. So I have to like not listen to that song because it takes me to an emotional state. Because sometimes we have to pretend just to get to the end sometimes. I'm sorry, that was it. That's you made me think of that song as soon as you said it.
Yeah, good observation. And I probably would cite some older R&B song that has the same sentiment. There's some really wonderful things communicated in our music, as Lisa would know, because that's one of her go-to places. But yeah, send that song to the group chat, man. I'll check it out. I like Adele. But yeah, even to the, this is grown folks business, to the most real moment of love making and enjoying the physical interaction with another human being. If you're in something that no longer satisfies you, you're going to force that pleasurable moment and enjoy it for the time that it is, but it's coming to an end. That session will end and you're going right back to that dissatisfaction. So yeah, I think this is the perfect crowd for this topic. So I'm glad that you guys made it this evening. So Lisa, coming to you, do you have a distinct difference between satisfaction and pleasure?
Oh, no. I have to echo what Jay says, because it's like, what does satisfied look like when you've always had to like keep your head on a swivel or know that the upset is coming? Can you just rest? And I'm trying to get there right now. I will tell you that this show, even though you guys have pissed me off a time or two with your misogynistic ideas sometime, it has brought me real joy. Like, it really has brought me joy. Like, I am moving a lot of things. Like, as much as I like music, okay, this is the example. As much as I like music and singing, 7:00 on Thursdays is our choir practice for my church. I cannot join that choir because of this show. And I still love Jesus. But I know the joy that I've been able to experience with this show because I have not had the benefit of being able to constantly engage people that I feel like pour into me, right? Like, you guys really pour into me, and you keep me on my toes. I feel like you keep me sharp. And then your perspectives, like, oh my gosh, you're like a room full of Jesus here. And I just really appreciate that. And y'all know I don't be blowing smoke up people, but I ain't gonna gas nobody up either. But so I am trying to find that. And I recognize that life of trauma and drama, it was habitual, and then it was addictive, and it's a challenge to get that normal. But I have to say, Jay, man, you was caught pulling my car when you talked about that kid thing. I told my 18-year-old today, and most of y'all, Bob and Felton, and seen Lily, I said, I just don't like you. Like, she lied to me today, and we're supposed to go out of town tomorrow to see my ex-husband's daddy, her granddaddy. Like, ain't got no. I'm gonna drive 7.5 hours to go see your people, and you gonna lie to me? Like, I don't even want to talk to you no more. Like, who does that? And y'all know she's pretty sweet. Like, she's okay. But this parenting thing, and I'm like, how much do you want from me? Like, so anyway, thank you, Jay, for bringing that out, because sometimes people don't like to say this parenting thing is yucky. And I love you, but no, I don't like you because you lied to me today. And I don't like being lied to, bro. Right? So thank you very much, Jay. See how much you poured into me? You validated my feelings today.
I think we might be related, Lisa. We need to do it. I need you to do your 23andMe.
Y'all are related. I'll say y'all are, and bless it right now. Y'all related. I want to say, as someone who does not have children, I do remember being a child, and I was terrible at points. So I hope that you guys remember that too, and don't just put all of that energy towards your kids being the ones that testing your metal and getting on your nerves. Because you was the best kid ever. You was the best kid ever.
I have to interject. Listen, I do have to interject. One of the issues that I have with understanding my children is that I didn't have the benefit of healthy parenting. So I was petrified I was really going to die. So I didn't do none of this level of crazy because like none of this. So I don't understand this behavior because it was really, if you blink wrong, you go, me and my brother missed a bus and I was 12. Okay, this quick. I was 12. We missed the bus like we were kids. I'm telling you, my daddy was like, if y'all don't walk to that school, and I'm telling you, it was like 8 miles, okay, at 12 or 13, across East Wendover to get to Lincoln. If y'all don't walk there, y'all don't get to the school, you go get beat down. Like those were the words. You go get beat down tonight. We walked to Lincoln. Do you know we still got beat down? So no, we didn't. I don't know what this is, lying, because we were petrified we would die. So no, sir. You come from a place of privilege. I'm sorry.
Please, I'm not gonna let you off the hook. I had a grandmother that you couldn't walk funny in the store behind. She would not. You better walk straight, and you better not look at nothing. You ain't getting nothing. All of the comedian jokes that came out in the '90s, that's who I was raised by. Now, I'm talking about you talking about 18 now. Come on now. When you got the teenage years, man, we did some things we ain't supposed to done. If you got caught, you lied. Go ahead, Jay.
I agree with you, brother. Like, that's the reason why I don't even try to beat nothing out of these kids, because it's me and I can't beat me out of them. And it's just me on steroids. And when my mom is here, it's just 3 generations of us just in this house existing. And I'm like, I understand the logic. I just don't like it. And so when I talk about parenthood is ghetto, it's not necessarily their personalities. It's the constant worry. The constant reflection. And it's like, when do you ever escape it? I guess if Bob and Lisa ain't escaped it, I guess it ain't no hope, because they the only ones can tell me, because I'm born in 79, raised in the 80s and the 90s, and I'm taking my kids to middle school. I should be up there with Lisa somewhere. My kids should be leaving the house. So I'm really feeling it bad.
Oh man, hilarious. Bob, coming to you. Go ahead.
Sorry, Bob. Y'all mess with me tonight. You're not doing this to me simply because I was homeless at 17. 3 days after I turned 17, the summer before my senior year of high school, I became homeless because I overslept when one of my parents wanted me to take my brother to summer school, and that parent was home. So I didn't get that benefit y'all get. So I don't know what the real teenage Lisa would be. So I ain't playing with y'all.
What benefit? What benefit?
Tell us, Jay. Be able to wild out and be a teenager. So this Lily may be perfectly rational. Like this may be normal, but that ain't normal to me because I got kicked out.
Lisa, Jay, we're gonna have a being a child and being an adult discussion at some point. But Lisa, consequences are real, and don't get me wrong, you can't say everybody's consequences gonna be the same. But there wasn't no soft landings, darling. It was not easy, and I don't. I'm gonna have a comparison of miseries Olympics. But I love you, and I'm glad you made it through that. That's the important thing. Which brings me to my other response before I get to Bob. Some stuff that you were saying, you and Jay both were saying about that satisfaction thing. It's all temporary. We know that. Nothing lasts forever. But I truly have, I said this before, I try to stay in a constant state of appreciation. I really do. And I think that affords some momentary or more significant moments of satisfaction. So, being humble is important, and being in a constant state of appreciation, I think is a wonderful place to find some points of satisfaction, because something can be terrible, bad, but if you just take a moment and say, well, it could be worse, or look, we're going to make it through it, and whatever else. It's not about optimism. It's literally about just saying, I'm satisfied in me and knowing what I'm capable of and who I am. Jay, who you are should satisfy you, bro. Bob, coming to you now. Take your time with it, because somebody had to talk about their childhood.
Well, so yeah, I'm going to throw a real monkey wrench in this, I think, because I have loved from the moment I knew I was going to be a dad until this moment. I have loved being a parent. And I have never found parenting stressful. I have never found parenting worrisome. I've worried about my children plenty, because Jay Dwayne's exactly right. The minute kids are on the way, you start worrying, and you worry, I think, maybe for the rest of your life, but you certainly worry until they are solidly on their own. I think worry is the aspect of love for a parent that is unique, particularly unique. There's a unique worry, I'll say it this way, there's a unique worry to the love of a parent for the children. And so that's absolutely true. But in terms of being a parent and all of that sort of thing, never found that stressful. Work, was it work? Yes. Was it tiring? Yes. But it wasn't stressful. It wasn't anything but something that I absolutely loved. The thing, though, is I wasn't homeless when I was 17. I was happy when I was 17. So maybe that's the distinction. maybe that's the distinction. But in all seriousness, let me translate or transition those comments to something else about satisfaction. I think part of the challenge with satisfaction is if we're thinking about or looking for or wanting to be satisfied, where many of the ingredients, or even one of the ingredients of that, is something that we don't control, then I think we're doomed. I think we're doomed because we don't control most of what figures into our lives. And so I think if we think satisfaction comes from everything being gotten right around all the things that we care about, we can never be satisfied in that sense. And we have to be able to think, draw a line between I can't control what I can't control, and did I do good with what I can control? Did I do my best with what I can control? And because I can't control all the rest, and there's too much crap in the world, there's too much. The world, if the world's happiness, if the world's goodness, if the world's getting things right is what gives or takes away our satisfaction, we'll never be satisfied. It's not possible. So I think we have to look at, okay, what does it take to make me satisfied?
Bob, answer this, and then I'm going back around the room. So
Okay.
because you're about to go there. So
Okay.
Answer this one. I'm going back around for you guys to answer it also. But keep in mind, I have one question I want to make sure I get to. So keep
Sure.
your eye on your clock if you can. But
Yep.
You're getting ready to go there. So what increases the chances that you will reach satisfaction in an endeavor, any endeavor? So that's, I think, where you were kind of headed. So what increases those chances?
So I think the extent that we can limit our expectations to be satisfied with our contribution, feel good about our contribution, and then value the experience of whatever plays as it plays, because that's truth and that's real, and we've done our best. We've put our piece into it the best we can, and then we get to look and experience it for what it is and value it for what it is, and see the value pieces better because we didn't lay an expectation on it to start with.
I like that, and I'm going to say mine at the end, but yeah, perfect. So you guys, Jay, I'll come to you first. um, what increases the chances that you will reach satisfaction in any endeavor?
Satisfaction in any endeavor. I kind of want to tie into what Bob was saying too. I don't have an expectation of satisfaction. I think that I believe that you live life according to the hand that you were dealt. Unfortunately, there were certain things that I didn't get to experience that some other people did get to experience. I used to spend time feeling like I was cheated versus just saying, no, this is the hand that I was dealt and I'm going to play it. So when it comes to like a certain level of satisfaction, that's not even on my radar, but it is to live a life of fulfillment. So I'm hoping to leave this earth emptied out with all of my gifts, skills, and talent. I do know as I do things that I'm purposed to do, I do receive a higher level of gratification. But however, because of the hand that I'm dealt, there are these distractions or detractors that rob me of the totality of that experience. That is just life. It just is what it is. And whatever it will take for me, Felton, to to tie in that is that I do want to experience a life without the obligation of things that I'm not dedicated to or not fully committed to. Um, those type of things are the things that really drain me a lot of times because I have to do them out of necessity. But I cheat away, like how Lisa said, these moments give me gratification. When I'm able to create gives me gratification. Oh, when I go on road trips with my girls and stuff like that, spending time with my older brother gives me gratification. But the obligation to these things I truly don't care about drains the hell out of me.
Yeah, good response. I'm still going to say mine at the end. Lisa, so it's your turn. What increases the chances that you will reach satisfaction in any endeavor?
For me, it's doing the best I can and being authentic to me. So one of those kids of mine that Jeffrey, the oldest one, kind of chided me and encouraged me at the same time yesterday, because he's participating in some of the community work. And so he's talked to some other people within our groups. And he was like, Mama, everybody's not going to have the same drive as you. I don't know too many people that have that level of drive. Everybody doesn't have the same level of expectations. Everyone this and everyone's so on and so forth. He said, but that's you, right? And you are you, and no one faults you for that. But pause for a second and realize that you are an anomaly. And I don't think about that, right? I just wake up and just go get it, like go get whatever it is that is destined for me to get. So my satisfaction, my little incremental pieces of satisfaction is that I leave it all on the field, to use some sports metaphors. That if I'm going to do something, um, I don't know how to not do it all the way, 110, 120%. What does that look like? So when I'm saying somebody's lazy, it's like, well, if you signed up to do something, why didn't you get up at 8 o'clock if you know you got to be somewhere at 8:30? That, but I can't comprehend that. So um, thankfully, my kids get me. They don't always like me either, but they get me, and they manage me a lot better than I'm able to even manage them. But I like being open to even hearing that and saying, okay, because then I have to apologize to some of the people I deal with, not for me not being me, right? Because I'm gonna be me. I'll apologize that if even Lily, if Lily's feelings get hurt from me and my assertiveness, where my standards are way to the ceiling, but then I'm like, well, you have met me before, right? But I'm sorry your feelings got hurt, but I can't have my house looking like a tornado came through here. But that's where my satisfaction comes from, like being authentic to myself and not the people pleasing kind of thing. And I'm glad for that. And to Jay's point about the things, dealing with the cards you were dealt. those experiences that I've had, they make me like a super advocate. Like I was purposefully planned to be an advocate because, oh, I seen things they didn't see, and I made it right. And it's, but for the grace of God, there go I. Like I don't know why I put no dope in my arm. I have no clue because of that stuff. But because of seeing that stuff, I'm able to try to help somebody else. That's the satisfaction, and that is way bigger for me. It's like, oh, that stuff wasn't just for nothing, right? I can get those feelings and be able to better serve someone else because I have points of reference that someone else may otherwise not have.
Absolutely. I think Bob pretty much covered honesty, and that's something I think that increases your chances for satisfaction in an endeavor. Be honest about what you're getting yourself into. Um, Preparedness is kind of my other one, and Lisa, I think that's what you're alluding to. If you know this is what you got going on, you know who you are, so be who you are, and that's the ultimate level of preparedness, being your whole self in those spaces that you plan on doing something that you're looking for a satisfying outcome that's attached to it. Jay, self-care, that's the thing that I think is important in that process also. And I think the time that you spend on those things that you don't like and you really would rather be doing something else, you have to take moments and care for yourself, because those things probably still gonna have to be done and gonna have to be something that you're a part of, even though they might get on your nerves, but you got to take care of yourself along the way. So I think all of those things are what increases your chances for a more satisfying outcome in an endeavor. But yeah, it's still not easy. It's all the work. This is the question I wanted to ask you guys, because I think all of us, to a degree, participate in this thing called life. We do it in a way that's functional and not sitting, hoping, wishing, praying. It's actually, physical and mental contributions to hopefully making the world a little bit better. So I wanted to make sure I got to this question, and I'll start back with you, Bob, and I'll make my way around and we'll get out of here this evening. Is satisfaction possible when the work is so unsettling? And when I'm talking about the work, I'm talking about what we all feel like we contribute our energies to, and that's the betterment of our society.
I think it feels like it's not. I'm going to start with that. It feels like it's not. I think that if we can shape our perspective to be one of, we've done our best, or we're doing our best, and we can't control what we can't control, then I think we can get closer to a sense of tolerance, maybe, or I'm not sure, satisfaction. I don't know whether we can get to satisfaction or not, because the failures of the space that we spend so much of our time in is so frustrating. It's so unfair. It's so unjust. It's so pervasively and pervasively unjust, and so pervasively agonizing in every way, intellectual, emotional, psychological, feeling. Pick a place. It is so comprehensively prevailing. How in the world can you think that you can be satisfied when you are existing in that kind of space? And it persists with such sluggish and such impossibly, from our perspective, inexplicable failure. I mean, so I now that said, a lot of this stuff's easier said than done. I could say to Jay Dwayne, he doesn't have to do anything he doesn't want to do. He doesn't have to do anything that sucks the air out of him, except what he feels like he has to do in order to make a living, because he has to make a living. And so then, okay, shape that perspective into, the only reason I'm dealing with this is because it's a means to an end, and an end that is necessary in order for me to have some sense of existence. And a basic inequity that sits in this space amongst us is, I don't have to worry about having permission. And others in this space have to worry about maintaining their place of permission. I don't have to worry about that. That gives me a level of freedom. And I say that because I want you to realize, I recognize that gives me a level of freedom that others necessarily don't have. And so all of that sort of thing, as nuanced as it might be, is not nuanced at all. It is very real. It is very significant. It is very impactful. It affects every aspect of our being. If I don't have to ask permission for 99% of the stuff that my life involves, think about that. Versus if you have to ask permission, or you have to maintain, I'll say it differently, you have to maintain a place where you have permission and are at risk of losing that. I mean, good grief. How does that affect satisfaction? So, you know, it's easier said than done. Some of the stuff I'm saying, even though I think what I'm saying is right or fair or accurate, it's not a reality for so many people. And that's part of what we have to throw into the equation.
The tightrope is real.
Yep.
And the balancing act, you know, takes all of you got, and sometimes more than you have, and yet we persevere. Is satisfaction possible when the work is so unsettling, Lisa? You got a lot cooking right now. So is satisfaction possible when the work is so unsettling?
Yes, to a certain extent. As long as you are authentic, and as long as you believe without a doubt, because part of the issues come when other people try to interject their strong opinions about what you should value. And okay, how about you value that? I'll value this. You drive your train, I drive mine. That's the challenge, but it's still satisfying. But to a conversation we had yesterday, and I had with Bob, about, it's kind of lonely though. It's lonely because there are these distractions, like Jay Dwayne said, that there are distractions that try to pull you here or pull you there. But the satisfaction comes from saying, nope, I believe in this. And you kind of got to give yourself this pep talk regularly. Like, nope, I believe in this, and this makes sense. Matter of fact, even before the show, I had to get off the phone with Jeffrey again, because he said, I don't know that what you're doing goes back to your target, what you said. And I was like, dude, Ray Charles can see it does. He says, no, I think you should be focusing on families. No, I focus on Black caregiver mothers. And if we get the Black caregiver mother together, families are together. And since it's more Black caregiver mothers taking care of kids by this, so I go into, and I'm getting frustrated by this kid that I raised. And then after 15 minutes, I said, I got to get ready to go and get on the show. I said, my target audience is me at 35 or 36, when I was divorced with 5 kids and no support system and no connection to resources to make me feel. He says, oh, well, why didn't you say that? What the freak? That is what I said. The Black caregiver mother. So anyway, but I had to be true to, I know who it is I'm trying to get at, because I believe that if you take care of the Black mother that had charge over 5 kids, and those 5 kids are going to be the culmination of all her trauma, all her drama, and then they go out and impact the world, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, all them can see this. So anyway, staying true to yourself.
Yeah, I get that. And there's a tree and then there's branches. And the branches are where we can go do that thing that helps the tree stay healthy and keep growing. And I like that you understand where you want to concentrate and focus, and that should not be disrupted by anyone. It should be supported, um, maybe amended by some things that make sense to you, but not disrupted and not, changed into something that's not authentic to who you are. Jay, is satisfaction possible when the work is so unsettling?
And then this is where I sound weird. I think yes, because that's the work I want to do. Doing that meaningful work, I don't care that it's ugly. That's what I'm called to, and that's why I do what I do. And if I could do more of that, no matter how exhausting that is, that's a different type of exhausting. That's a different type of work. That's a different type of pressure that I long to experience every day. Doing this other stuff, I don't really care for, but I definitely believe that it's possible, and I look forward. That is what I look forward to. That there is a chance, a great chance, in a day that I'll be able to do the dirty work every day, which is the good work.
I have absolutely the same sentiment to a degree that I can pretty much sum up as very satisfying. It can be, but like all things, it's fleeting. But you'll never feel as good as you feel when you know that you've contributed in some way, shape, or form. And you will know. You'll know because somebody will tell you. And you won't even know who tells you that well. It'll be somebody outside of your normal circle and space of friends and people. It'll be somebody that just, I was at something, or I heard something, or somebody told me something, or I saw this. And it's the most satisfying experience. But like everything else, it's all temporary. But you can get it, although the work can be filled with so much despair. If you're paying attention to Black American life, it's a thing to behold, and I look at it from 100 years ago to today, and it is something that can be unsettling. It is something that can be testing of what it takes to stay engaged and stay in the work. But it is satisfying. Go ahead, Lisa.
When you mentioned that, and I know I've been kind of making light of that homelessness at 17, but do you know, when you just mentioned that, it reminded me that your cousin, our cousin, came up to me at your birthday celebration. You don't know who's watching you, and you don't know why or who or what. He literally told me, he said, "No, I know you. I seen you. What you doing now? Do you know why I do what I do now? Because I've seen you homeless at 17, living out of your car and working at Wendy's and grinding. Because I seen you grinding like that." I'm like, Snapper, what? Like what? Like 45, almost 45 years later. So thank you for reminding me of that. So you don't know. And every little, I think I'm probably at 5 years. Snapper was probably 12, right? And who knew? I ain't seen Snapper like really since, but that little bitty thing. So I'm satisfied now. Thank you. See how this show done poured into me? I'm gonna go to bed tonight satisfied because you reminded me of that. Thank you.
And he don't forget a thing. He don't forget nothing. So yeah, I totally that's exactly how I meant it. And I appreciate you guys so much. And the storm waited on us because it's been quiet ever since we got started. And somebody must want this good word out. Go ahead, Jay.
No, you had Bob. Bob been raising his hand for the longest.
Oh, Bob, I'm looking at the unmiking. I haven't looked at the hands. Go ahead, Bob.
I want to speak to something Jay Dwayne said. He's exactly right. He mentioned the feeling he has in doing the work he's called to do. And that is a critical thing, I believe. I always felt I was called to be a dad. And so my energy and my investment in that was absolutely full on, because I felt like that was a calling. And I think one thing I believe that we screw our kids up with is not teaching them to follow their passions. We teach them to follow something else that they're supposed to do, that should do, the things that we ought to do. They should follow their passions, and they should follow their energies, and they should follow what they're good with, such that they can be fulfilled, not beat their heads against the wall against all this other stuff that is demoralizing, challenging, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We all need to feel the freedom and the opportunity to pursue what we feel in our hearts and our souls is our lives to be. And that, I think, is critical to this conversation. Thank you, Dwayne.
I appreciate the semicircle moment, because the parenting piece of this tonight was very, very much needed, I think, for all parties involved, except me. So yeah, y'all have a wonderful night. Enjoy. I appreciate you guys so much, and it's nothing but love here. So if you're tuning in, salute and appreciate you, and love you all. So y'all have a wonderful night. Take care, and be safe out there.